Good morning. It's wonderful to be here in South Florida, and I'm pleased to be able to announce that we are going to be appointing the folks you see up here to the Broward County Commission for the vacancies that were recently created. And we're very excited that both Tori Alston and Jared Moskowitz will be able to serve the communities here. They're obviously both from here. They kind of live and breathe Broward County, and they both have demonstrated records of service to the community, both here locally as well as to the state of Florida. Tori went to high school in Pompano Beach, got his MBA from FAMU, and he's been involved in Broward County government, having served as the county's chief of staff for 3 years. He is currently the chief of staff for the Florida Department of Transportation, and he's been doing a great job there. People who do business in other states will always compliment Florida on how well our FDOT is run relative to other states. And during the pandemic, we were able to actually accelerate some key projects when people in the initial weeks and months were doing a lot of remote working. Traffic was less, and we took advantage of that. And so he really helped Kevin Tebow and the team get that in really good working order. And we're very happy we're fully funding this work program. We're going to continue with our infrastructure needs because obviously the state is growing and we're going to have to get ahead of that. He is joined here with his wife, Candace, and their 2 children, Elliot and Tori, who are already going to school here in Broward County. And Candace is starting a new local business, and they spend their free time basically with family, traveling and fishing and going to the movies. I know a little bit about maybe not going to the movies publicly anymore. We don't have that, but we just had my daughter's 5th birthday party yesterday, and that was quite an experience. So we appreciate what he's done in service, and I know he's somebody that's respected across the board here in the community, and is somebody that's proven that he has the ability to work with people regardless of political party, which is very, very important. And I think the same can be said for Jared Moskowitz. Jared has had a lot of great achievements, a relatively young guy, obviously with a beautiful young family as well. He's done an awful lot, both when he was in Parkland, then as a state representative, and then more recently, of course, as the director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. He's a native of Coral Springs and received his JD from Nova Southeastern University. He was instrumental in all things emergency response. He really improved the agency in so many different ways and made a great impact on a lot of people who were recovering from storms, people who needed help with COVID. We were actually able, when COVID first, in those early days, people were trying to figure out what was going on. Broward was the first part of the state where we started to see, cases. Back then we thought a few cases was like really a big deal. So we were looking, and we brought the first in the country to mobilize National Guard to do these big testing sites. And it got Jared oversaw that. You actually had National Guard generals that would come down and look at that, and then they would then report to other states to try to do that. And so that was not only Jared, but that was actually right here in Broward County. And then as we started going on, we were the first state to bring vaccines directly to nursing homes, and Jared oversaw that. And actually the first nursing home we visited was here in Broward County. And then, of course, most recently, when we did the monoclonal antibody sites, we wouldn't have been, and Jared had moved on by then, but we would not have been able to do that as effectively if he had not put in a really good infrastructure. So I think that he's somebody who is always looking to kind of do the right thing by the people that he serves, and that's something that we really, really appreciate. And his kids have grown over the last couple of years, and we appreciate them very much. And the question that they asked when they found out he was getting an appointment, they thought he may have to go back to Tallahassee again. No, this is here locally, and so we're very happy about that. And I think both Tori and Jared are going to put the folks here in the community and their needs first. I don't think they're going to use this position to posture or to get involved in kind of useless political fights, and that's really important. We have a lot of potential in South Florida. A lot of people want to be here. A lot of people want to invest. Obviously, we've got a lot of people here that have been here for a while. We want to make sure that they have good communities, and local government stuff is very important. If you look around the country, when these local governments have really gone off the rails, and a lot of it's when you have one-party rule, you look and you see what's happened to San Francisco. It's a shell of its former self. You look at LA with all the homeless that they have, all the crime in Chicago. You look what's happened in New York City. This is as a result of policies. This is a result of ideology trumping the needs of the community. And so these are really important positions. And I think to have two folks here who have demonstrated records of putting service above self, people that will work with you regardless of your political party, and people that both understand that we have unique opportunities here in Florida at this point in our history. We kind of all eyes are on us. And so I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do. We look forward to working with both of them from the governor's office. You know, when I was, for our first couple years, we had Shane Strum, who's here as the chief of staff for the governor from Broward, and then we had Jared as the DEM, and so that was something where they got a lot of love as a result of that, kind of naturally. But there was really good working relationships, regardless of any of the political party differences, and that's something that I think is really important, and we want to make sure that we're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to let them come up and say some stuff, and then we're going to hear from the mayor. Where's the mayor? Is he the mayor? And then we're going to hear from Chip. So Tori.
Wow, God is so good. Thank you, Governor, for this appointment to the Broward County Commission, and thank you for your vote of confidence in my leadership. I am ready to roll up my sleeves and serve the people of Broward County and District 9. As the governor said, there is no place like home. My passion for public service started at a young age, watching my parents serve this community. I'm the son of a retired Broward Health Social Services case manager, where my mom spent 35 years serving those in need. Thank you, Mom, for being here. And I'm the son of a deceased father, the first school resource officer at Boyd Anderson High School, just a few blocks away from here, where he served more than 20 years with distinction. As a former student member on the Broward School Board more than 20 years ago, this began my foundation of service to Broward County. Previously, I have served on the FAMU Board of Trustees, the Boys and Girls Club of Broward County Corporate Board, City of Fort Lauderdale Audit Advisory Committee, and the City of Oakland Park Board of Adjustment. As a kid who grew up right here in the district, attended public schools in the district, a proud resident of the district, and a fourth-generation member of the New Mile Baptist Church, I know our community, I know our issues, and I'll be a strong voice on the County Commission. As a husband, father, and proud business owner, to sum it all up, I know District 9, and District 9 knows me. Very soon, I'll be reaching out to key stakeholders, homeowner association presidents, community groups, business organizations, as I begin a listening tour in advance of being seated. My initial priorities as a county commissioner will include economic development, infrastructure, job creation, rent and housing assistance, a small veteran business development program, and of course, the environment. Governor, in closing, I'd like to thank my wife and college sweetheart, Candace. She has given me the green light on this call to service. Thank you, honey. And of course, I'd like to thank my two biggest cheerleaders, my daughter, Lady Elizabeth, and my son, Tori Lewis. Daddy loves you both, as you know. Again, Governor, thank you 1,000,000%. And I can assure you and the people of Florida and the people of Broward County that District 9 will be in great hands with a fresh perspective and new energy through 2024. Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
All right, hey, congratulations. Okay, Jared Moskowitz.
Well, thank you, Governor. Thank you for coming to Broward County today, and thank you for having the confidence in me yet again. First, as the Director of Emergency Management in your administration, and now as a Broward County Commissioner. Let's just hope that this appointment is nowhere near as eventful as the last job you gave me. When the governor appointed me to be the director, we went to work on day one, helping the residents of the Panhandle recover from a Category 5 hurricane. And on day one, when I'm sworn in, I will go to work for the residents of District 8 in Broward County. There are many items to tackle: infrastructure, economic development, but I want to work with all of our partners to continue the progress that we have made on school safety following the Marjory Stoneman Douglas shooting. I left being the director because at the time, I had spent so much time away from my family. I didn't go home for 4 months in the beginning of the pandemic, and my wife and kids stayed in Broward. And I am humbled by this opportunity the governor has afforded me to both continue my public service, but be at home. I'm happy that my family could be here today. One of the things I learned from the pandemic is how important your family is and that your time with them can be limited. The last time there was a Mayor Michael Udine in Broward, it was in Parkland. And on the city commission next to him was this 25-year-old kid who got elected by 23 votes. It's going to be an honor to serve with Mayor Udine one more time. I want to thank Commissioner Barbara Sharif for her service to Broward County. I look forward to continuing the great work she did on behalf of the residents of District 8. I want to congratulate Tori Alston. It's going to be a pleasure to serve with him. I got to work with him when he was Chief of Staff at DOT, and he did a fantastic job there, and he's going to do a fantastic job for the residents of Broward. Governor, thank you again for this opportunity to serve at home.
Congrats. Okay, Mayor, come on up. Congratulations.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Governor.
of course, of course.
Good morning, everybody. It is my honor to be standing here as Broward County Mayor and to welcome two very qualified, fantastic members of the new Broward County Commission as they become seated. We are a collegial body that looks to work together for the benefit of all residents of Broward County. For our residents, our businesses, and our visitors, Broward County is an open and diverse community, and I look forward to working hard with you to bring the best results for all of our stakeholders as we move forward. As Jared said, it's my honor to be working with him again. The band's back together, and we'll go from there. And thank you, Governor.
Yeah, of course, thank you. Okay, Chip LaMarca.
Thank you, Governor. County Commission work is important work, and I got elected with the two people who left to run for Congress. And so the two positions that these two folks will sit in their chairs were people I got elected with, and we did a lot of great work. And Michael Moskowitz, we did a lot of great work fighting for the people of Broward County. A lot of folks that are here. I want to say that I want to congratulate Jared, but really I'm here to say thank you, Governor. I don't write many letters to you for folks that want to get appointed to something, and I've been in a position as a former party chair following Shane Strum that everyone asks for a letter or a phone call, and I have to tell you, I couldn't be more proud to put my name behind Tori Alston. I know your story. I knew when you were chief of staff to one commissioner. I know you were chief of staff to another commissioner. And you ran for school board, and I know your record in Tallahassee serving the governor, and I appreciate what you've done for DOT. And you've got a beautiful family. I welcome you back to the district. And again, I know you both do great things. And if I can just say that having had the opportunity to serve with Michael Udine as a commissioner, not mayor, it was my hope that we'd have a good group of folks on the county commission that would think about businesses and people and try to make things happen, try to get to yes instead of standing in the way of folks. And you now have a mayor that has that goal. I know that both these two gentlemen will work with at least two other members on that board, and you'll have your 5 votes. So I wish you the best of luck, Mayor Udine, and Godspeed to Broward.
Thanks, Chip. Well, this is, I know they're both eager to get to work, and obviously they're not going to take office immediately under the law, but we look forward to them doing it, and I want to thank them for being willing to serve. Also, just want to wish them and all Floridians a happy Thanksgiving, and really just to offer my thanks for all that the people of Florida have done to provide thoughts and prayers for my family, particularly over the last month and a half. And on behalf of the First Lady, she really appreciates the strong outpouring of support. It does make a difference it increases your spirits. It gives you kind of more of a will to fight. And I've seen that up close and personal firsthand. So thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for your well wishes. And, it wasn't exactly the Thanksgiving we maybe envisioned at the beginning of the year, but I'm confident that we're on the road to, next Thanksgiving, we'll be able to celebrate a lot of great things, but one of which will be my wife kicking cancer to the curb. So thank you. You guys want to do gaggle? Anyone have any questions for these newly minted commissioners? Does anyone have a question about the commission? Anybody? What do you have?
Question, you had just passed you just proposed your tax holiday, bipartisan support, but some Democrats that we've spoken to are concerned that the money can come from somewhere else, as far as other infrastructure measures.
We will fully fund the work program. That we are committed to doing that. That will happen. You'll see in my budget, which we'll have out after the holidays. We'll fully fund it. Fortunately, Florida's been doing very well financially. I think if you go back particularly when COVID hit, people were really concerned about, obviously, things were changing in the economy. But, we worked really hard to keep things open, protect people's jobs, protect businesses. And the result is we're going to actually put out a release today about, the people coming to Florida is in the summer was more than even pre-COVID was. Domestically, it's off the chart. Obviously, international, there's still restrictions. So the result of that has been we're typically taking in $400 million over the estimate every single month in terms of what's coming in. So we'll have the ability to do it. And look, it's at this point in time, when you have the inflation that we're seeing in the economy, some people dismissed it 6-7 months ago, but it's real, and it's causing people to it's pinching people. The number one place a lot of working folks get pinched is at the pump because you got to commute, particularly parts of South Florida where folks have to commute to be able to get to their job. These are not easy commutes, so there's not really a way that they can just quote tighten their belt. These are kind of fixed costs, and the costs are now going up. It's something that they have to do. So I think it's really, really appropriate. I think it'll make a difference. And we were trying to figure out what we could do for sure. We actually looked at maybe tolls, but not everyone does toll roads, particularly in other parts of the state. And then you have these expressway authorities. We said, you know what? Here's whatever our share is of this gas tax. Why don't we just reduce it to zero and do that as long as we can? So I think it's going to be good. I think people will be happy, and they'll be happy with the budget to see what we've been able to accomplish. On the one hand, we're very prudent on how we spend. When COVID hit, I vetoed $1 billion, including my own job growth grant fund, because we didn't know. We wanted to make sure we would be able to handle things. Now we're in a situation where you saw what we did for water resources in Everglades. We're more than anyone thought we'd be able to do, and we're making great progress. We're doing another increase for teacher pay. We're going to do bonuses for cops and firefighters again. We're going to do a $5,000 signing bonus for out-of-state law enforcement who've been treated very poorly in other parts of the country. They can come to Florida and do very well. It's not as much money, but we have money to transition by getting rid of the FSA and doing progress monitoring. So we actually have a good system in place that will monitor progress and provide feedback. And so we've got a lot of great things that'll done, and that'll all be done in a way where we have really, really strong reserves going forward. And so I just think it would have been unacceptable to have kind of basically record reserves and to have people seeing gas go up 50-60% in a year. It's like $3.34 statewide is the average. It's $1.30 more than it was just a year ago, and so they need relief, and so we're going to deliver it to them.
Can you talk about the compact?
The compact?
The Seminole Compact and the federal judge's ruling
So when did that come out?
early this morning.
Okay, I have not seen it yet. And what was the ruling?
That basically it says
Hub and spoke is no good or good?
no, that the sports betting has to be done on tribal land.
Right. So they said that the hub, and so when we did the compact, I can only negotiate with the tribes. I cannot do any gambling outside of that per the amendment that passed in 2018. And so that's all done via referendum or not. And so we had the ability to negotiate with the tribe. I felt very strongly that their Tampa casino is the most profitable casino in the country. They were paying nothing to the state. So we got a deal that is going to be very good for the state. They wanted to do the sports, and so we said fine. And the reason why I said that is because it would probably pass on a referendum anyways, and then if a company gets it, the tribe gets it anyways. So we felt that that made sense. Now, we also knew when you do hub and spoke, it was an unsettled legal issue. We structured the compact so that the compact is preserved for the casinos and the other stuff. So we're going to still be getting revenue. Obviously, we'll get less revenue from sports betting if they're not able to do hub and spoke. But I would imagine that's going to be appealed. If you followed that hearing, it seems like the government wasn't even, so the government was really the party. It wasn't the tribe or the state of Florida. The government wasn't prepared. It seems like they did a poor job in the argument, and I know the tribe wants to be able to go. So we'll support whatever we can to validate the compact. I think that it is, I think the hub and spoke is fine, but we anticipated that this could happen.
Governor, the shipping crisis in California a couple weeks ago, there was talk of ramping up operations here in Port Everglades to pick up the slack. The county commission has oversight over the port. Where does that stand right now, and going forward with the new commissioners? What do they see as their role in helping alleviate that?
You guys want to talk?
Yeah.
The county commission over the last few years has made major improvements in infrastructure. We've gone out and purchased post-Panamax cranes, which is available to offload bigger ships, ships that can come from farther districts that can cross the Panama Canal. We're putting the investment in as a county commission into Port Everglades, and our port is ready, willing, and able to accept more cargo, more petroleum, and more cruise passengers. We were the first port to start revenue-generating passenger cruising. So we're here, and the Broward County Commission is very supportive of moving Port Everglades forward in a positive manner and to pick up some of the slack from the rest of the nation to help with the any kind of shipping crisis.
And we're, in the state, we've done almost $1 billion since I've been governor for our ports, and we're going to continue to do that. We believe that that's a key economic engine for the state of Florida. If you will, we were in when we did the initial announcement in Jacksport, they rerouted ships from Savannah to Jacksonville that were stuck. We've had ships come from India. So there's a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of interest, and I know the different port directors have been negotiating with different companies. So I think the end result is going to be that the investments that we made are paying off and will pay off some more, and we're going to continue to make sure that Florida is a great destination for that, as well as a lot of the other stuff that's going on in terms of the economy. I mean, we're proud that we're a good place to do business. I think that if you look, I was actually talking to the mayor. I've talked to companies that want to bring more manufacturing to Florida, particularly South Florida. And if you think about it, we have a great business environment for that. A lot of the places where the manufacturing grew up many decades ago have been more difficult to do business in. We also have probably the strongest commitment in the country since I've been governor to vocational education and skills-based training. You're training people to be able to get skills that are immediately marketable in the economy right now. You know, everything from welding to aircraft maintenance to the commercial vehicle drivers. There's a huge shortage in that. And so we're really putting our money where our mouth is. And I think the result will be we have the best business climate for that. But then you're going to have workforce that's going to be there as these companies expand and move forward. So we're happy with that. But it's a great day. We're happy with these folks. I think that they're going to work really hard for the folks here locally. And so I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the other side of it. Congratulations.
A little bit of a shorter event this morning, but no less important. This is something that's going to probably mess with a few people's heads. I'll just leave it there. Our governor knows how to work with conservatives regardless of party. It is very easy to just broad brush people and say, oh, they're part of that party, therefore they are evil, terrible, and horrible, and we need to do everything we can to destroy them. It doesn't work that way. It is not like that. We have people in the Democrat Party in Florida who are conservative and absolutely loathe the direction the National Democrat Party has taken. Case in point, when 60 Minutes came down here and tried to do a hit piece on the governor saying he had worked some secret deal with Publix for money under the table to get the exclusive rights for vaccination, all this kind of crap. The Democrat, I believe, I'm not sure if he was the mayor or the county commissioner of Broward County, Jared Moskowitz, the guy that you just saw, spoke secondly, not the African-American gentleman, but the other one. He came out and vociferously called out 60 Minutes for lying and said this is absolutely not the case with this. There was never any exclusive deal. It never went through Broward. The governor has been nothing but helpful, nothing but supportive of us as a Democrat, and some other Democrats, that are a little more aligned with the National Democrat Party took a little bit of offense to that. But he's like, look, right is right. And the other fellow that spoke, the first thing he did was honor God. The first thing he did was honor God. See, there's a difference. There is a fundamental difference. And this is why I've talked about a spiritual difference between Florida and the rest of the country. Now, we're going to talk about something that's really going to hack a lot of people off. But I've got the Bible on my side. And this one. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the screen and going, what's going on? Hold on. That's public enemy number one. Nope. Absolutely not. I'm sure many of you have heard the story. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, was on a plane. Marjorie Taylor Greene identified her, and she came down to South Florida to look for a retirement home. And she allegedly has now purchased a very, very expensive one. $25 million, I believe. Now, some conspiracy theorists with very tiny brains and low IQs would say, they're coming to flip Florida blue. They're coming to try to change the... You see, it's these people from Georgia and Michigan and Arizona, largely, that are embarrassed that they didn't get involved with local politics enough to keep the National Democrat Party from getting into their local politics and flipping their elections. You see, it didn't work in Florida. You know why it didn't work in Florida? Because we don't necessarily worry about who's in Washington, D.C., more so than we worry about who's on county commissions and who's on school boards and who the sheriff is and who the mayor is and all that kind of stuff. It's largely because we have an older population that understands how powerful those positions are, not by themselves, but as a group. Now, some would say, how could you welcome Nancy Pelosi to Florida? Why would you want this terrible person? I want Nancy Pelosi in Florida, and I talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it even more. I want her here. I want her happy. I want her shopping. I want her on the beach. I want her out with her friends. I want her doing everything that Floridians do to live a blessed life for a couple of reasons. And the Bible even echoes this. Somebody actually alluded to it in my chat yesterday, and I didn't even see it. The comment went by so fast. The exact scripture. Why do I want this? Because some might think, well, she deserves this, and she deserves that, and she deserves the other. First of all, the Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Does it not? Do you know that Paul, the greatest of all the apostles, was at one time the greatest persecutor of Christians? And on top of that, all of those people out west in Washington, in Oregon, in California, in San Francisco, in the valley, so to speak, where they control all of the social media, all of those people who thought she was the socialist stalwart, she was going to usher in a new age of happy socialist life all across the country. When they see her come to Florida and enjoy life and enjoy freedom without masks and without lockdowns and without restrictions and without mandated vaxes and all this kind of stuff? Think if you could haul off as far as you could and punch 3 to 5 million socialists, DC Democrat socialists on the West Coast, punch them all simultaneously right in the solar plexus. Imagine if you could do that. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be sitting in the corner of a very dark room with their hands around their knees, rocking back and forth, wondering about their life choices just by seeing her move to Florida. See, there's a dirty little secret that a lot of people don't know. The current incarnation of the National Democrat Party, she hates them. She hates them and they hate her. She loathes them. She comes from a very different place. She's an old school Italian Democrat, and she has had to compromise and do stuff that's completely antithetical to what she believes. And she goes out and she plays the act. But trust me on this one. Here's the statement from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nancy Pelosi went house hunting last week in South Florida. She was actually on my plane. She wants to retire in Florida to enjoy low taxes, mask-free hair salons, and Republican freedom policies while literally destroying all those good things for the American people. See, she doesn't do that. Pure in heart picked up the scripture before I could get it out. the Matthew 5 version of it, but there's many. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. The best revenge is living well. Absolutely. Here's a picture of the house. Now, this is going to be a separation of the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, in the conservative movement. Because if you're a Christian, it's not hard to find that scripture. It's not hard to understand. This is Sunday school. This is little kid teachy stuff. Bless those that persecute you. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. All this type of thing. That's stuff you learn in Bible school when you're a little kid. So here's her house. It's right by the ocean. It's very pretty. I believe so. I don't want to speak for sure that I know exactly where this is, but that I believe is what's being reported. Yeah, they're going to bring a ton of money. And I would encourage everyone to shake her hand and say thank you for your service. Because later on in the scripture that I had brought up, it says you'll heap coals of fire. The point is this. You perceive Nancy Pelosi has done me no harm. I can't point to anything in my life directly where I can say Nancy Pelosi did this, therefore my life is worse. But a lot of people perceive, because of what they look at online and the things they listen to and the garbage news sites like Breitbart and all these others, that she's destroying this, destroying that. She hasn't destroyed a damn thing in Florida. She hasn't destroyed a damn thing in Florida. Her being Speaker of the House has absolutely no bearing on Florida. And that's the point, short bus. You see, karma's not your job. Karma's not your job. Karma is actually is one of those things that people love because they want to see vengeance done to who they perceive to be their enemies in their time. Another great scripture, thank you, pure in heart, for doing this. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Now, all the Trumpanzees out in my audience, what do you think Trump's going to say? Let's see if he really is a man of God. Let's see if he really is ordained of God, man of the Bible. Let's see if he really is deserving of that title. I wonder if he would talk about forgiveness, if he would talk about loving your enemies, persecuting loving those who persecute you. I wonder if he would say that. And if he doesn't say that, if he says the opposite of that, okay, well, there you go. You see, this is something I don't think he's going to let pass. I don't think he's going to let pass, even though he's been surrounded by Democrats his whole life. His daughter was a registered Democrat. He was a registered Democrat. That would be something to see, Robert. I tell you what. If she wants to get that much sun, if she's out there just to get to soak up the sunshine, and I could see her coming here and saying, "Thank God I got out of that hellhole, California. I got trapped in that job out there, and I didn't know how the hell to get out of it, so I just did what I had to do and kind of marched along to the little drummer, and then finally, when my retirement time come up, and this is a good time for Democrats to get the hell out. It really is. There's a lot of Democrats retiring right now. A lot of Democrats are saying, I'm done, because the writing is on the wall for them. They've lost. They've lost, and they know it. And there's so many indicators right now that it's this is one that I had pulled up for this particular issue. I was going to do a video on this today, but with short bus, she did not make California a hellhole. The people of California made California a hellhole. No more than Governor DeSantis made Florida a great place to live. He's one man. He's only been in charge for a couple of years. It was a great place to live before that. He was a great place to live while he was in Washington, D.C., and it was a great place to live when he was in high school. People had been flocking here for years and years and years. They're only ruining this nation because people are allowing them to, Compton. People in the states, and this is what makes people, this is why I picked out in Georgia, Michigan, and Arizona. Because those people, conservatives in those states, were lazy. Okay, short bus, have you ever lived in California? Have you ever lived in California? I promise you, if you've ever lived in California, which I have, the liberals out there outnumber the conservatives by orders of magnitude. It's not even close. San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, all up the coast, not even close. It would be ridiculous to make any allegation out there that conservatives have the numbers. They just don't. They absolutely don't. Same thing there are conservatives, but they just don't outnumber those big cities. It's where Hollywood is. They have LA and they have LA and San Francisco, and that's it. And Oakland. The whole Bay Area, Monterey, all liberals. So yeah, I totally believe in the voting machines in California. Absolutely. The reason they were able to do what they did in Arizona and Michigan and Georgia is because of the laziness of the conservatives in those states. They were lazy. They thought Trump would save them. Oh, all we need to do is vote for Trump. All we need to do is vote for Trump. And that'll solve all our problems. And meanwhile, the Democrats said, we're going to put people in these other places. Yeah, exactly right. Conservatives have less registered than independents as of the 2020 election. They're third party. I agree. You've got libertarians out there, and you've got Green Party out there, and you've got all sorts of different groups. Believe me. Totally valid. But here in Florida, for the first time now, conservatives outnumber Democrats for the first time. And we're still winning elections, even being outnumbered. What do you think we're going to do now? It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around. That this is what we are commanded to do. This is what we are commanded to love our enemies and to bless those who've persecuted us. Even if I could make some kind of a argument that somehow Nancy Pelosi ever did anything to persecute me, which she didn't. All politics is local. In fact, it was Tip O'Neill that said that. All politics is local. You need to, once again, it's why we did this today. This is the governor getting involved in local politics. Commissioner seats in Broward County, he just handed to two conservative Democrats. You think you're going to get Nikki Fried to give him any kind of acknowledgement of this? Of course not, because this is worse than anything for her. Here are two Democrats that think she is batshit. These two Democrats think Nikki Fried needs to go, and she's a Democrat. So, okay, first talk further. Okay, loving them and allowing them to continue to do things that they were doing to me, different subjects. Well, it says, bless those who persecute you. How do you think Saul became Paul? How do you think Saul became Paul? Don't you think Jesus would have had the power to intervene and stop it? You don't have to obey. You don't have to obey. And like I said, I would love for somebody down in the comment section here in Florida to directly tie anything Nancy Pelosi has done to some suffering in your life in Florida. It's not possible. It's just not possible. You know, it's just not reality either. If you believe something about her or whatever she's done, or because she's Speaker of the House or whatever, you know, she's Speaker of the House in D.C. And I've said multiple times, Washington, D.C. has no power over the state of Florida. Pardon me, the Republic of Florida. And I would love also for someone, if they think somehow that's the case, please provide me the details. But nobody can. Because we've covered this multiple times, and it's important to keep hammering this home. If I could counsel anyone about how to make change in their life, get involved in your local school board, your local county commissioners. Figure out what your local issues are, and then go make the case for the conservative solution. In your local sheriff's office, any place they allow it, and then encourage others to do that in their communities. And you'd be amazed what happens. If you want to see the end result of years and years and years and years of this, come to conservative Florida. Come to conservative Florida and go visit the villages. Go visit St. Augustine and St. Johns County. And the kids are seeing this. And and this will resonate with kids too. This will absolutely resonate with kids, because who remembers back in high school? Class president, class vice president, treasurer, and there was another position too. Where I went to high school, there was four things you could run for: class president, class vice president, treasurer. It was a group of four student government representatives, and I can't remember. Secretary. Thank you. That's what it was. So, you can be the change exactly you wish to see. Being from California, I've seen many times that infighting supermajorities always end up destroying lives because they can't get their own organization together behind a single thing. I'll tell you what, MI12NO, that's a great point, because I kind of foresee this for the quote-unquote conservative movement when they take power next year. because you're going to have the intelligent, thoughtful conservatives that are behind DeSantis, and then you're going to have the flaming nutbag Trumpanzees who think that the reason that conservatives are in power is because they want some vindication of Trump's temper tantrum. And that's going to be a problem. We have to get rid of these Trump nuts. And that's, I don't know if a year is going to be enough time to do it. Governor DeSantis has done everything he can to try to set an example that you don't need to be a flaming Trumpanzee nutbag conspiracy theorist, Roger Stone loving, Alex Jones worshiping idiot to put forth the good ideas of conservative and Republican government, which the Constitution guarantees us. Did you ever hear Governor DeSantis? I've been reading the book, by the way. Those of you who haven't heard, I've done 4 different sections so far. We're about 30 pages in to Dreams from Our Founding Fathers, First Principles in the Age of Obama. Did you ever hear, and I would defy anyone to show me any clip of President 45 talking about the Founding Fathers, other than when they were guarding the airfields, I guess, in any way that talks about first principles? I haven't. I've never heard him talk about it. And that's why he's been largely so quiet, I believe, and only talking about, well, I don't want to get off on that because that could probably just demonetize my video right there, just talking about the idiot. So if you hear me not talking about him, there's a reason, because you just mention the man's name and you immediately get the little yellow icon, no matter what. So anyway, I will leave it there. I don't want to get too far into this, but that's what I was going to talk about today in the main video. The main, topic of the day was going to be this issue with Nancy Pelosi, but I think it's probably better left here so that we can talk about other subjects, the Antarctica issue, and why science is what science is now. So God bless. Have a great day. Chilly, sunny, and windy here in the north central coast of Florida today. So got to get outside and pick some things up that the wind has blown down. So we will leave it there. Have a great day. God bless. Of course, pray for each other, lift each other up. And it is Tuesday night, so we should, if all holds well, see you guys tonight over on Twitch. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you next time.